Hi guys, welcome to That Local Life podcast. I'm your host Sydney. This is Tyler.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 10. I think we're on episode 10 now. So we have a very special guest, Luis Cisneros. He is from Impact Fitness at Fruitland, right?
Yeah, let me help you out. We're the Factory Impact Jiu Jitsu and Wrestling Club. So,
Okay.
That's cool. He's also a Spanish teacher at are you high school?
Middle school.
Yeah. Spanish teacher at the middle school in Nyssa. So very happy to have him on. Luis, how are you, man?
Dude, super stoked, super nervous, but more than anything, man, super stoked to be here. And I've been following you guys' podcast here since I think you posted something when you guys officially got going 2 weeks ago.
We got going we're going almost a month now, I believe.
Yeah.
But we posted something yesterday, and a couple days ago, and you reached out.
Yeah.
So, but I'm super stoked, man. This is cool.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
So,
Well, we absolutely appreciate you being on, man. So let's hop right into it, man. Were you born and raised here? How long have you been here?
No, you know what, man? I wasn't born here. I was born in Mexico, to be honest.
Okay.
I was born in a city called Morelia. The state is Michoacan.
Okay. Are you on mainland Mexico, not Baja California side?
No, we're down south. We're 3 hours, 2.5 hours from Mexico City. So we're in the meat of what is Mexico, right? Kind of cool little story, but when I was born, I was there in '84. I think I was a year and a half when my mom made the trek this way. My dad was already up here, and we moved up here when I was a year old. But I mean, there was no stopping point. It was in Morelia to Nyssa.
Really?
There's no in between. There was no Texas. There was no California. There was no Arizona. None of that. We went right to Nyssa. So Nyssa is home, man. I could say I was just. One could say born and raised here, but I was raised here, really. Yeah. So,
What made you guys choose Nyssa?
Yeah, that's a good question. I asked my dad that a few years ago. I think my uncle was already here. My uncle was already. He was working strawberry fields when he'd go through Portland.
Yeah.
And just kind of go back and forth, onion fields, Portland, right? So my uncle had kind of already established himself here and told my dad, hey, it's his older brother. It's the oldest sibling of 9, I think. And he hey, there's work here. Yeah, you should come up. And I think my dad was 19, 20. He's got a pretty cool. Yeah, he's got a pretty cool story. I've never really kind of just sat and talked with him about it.
Yeah.
But one of the most interesting things that he's told me once was on his way up here, they got lost in the Arizona desert. For 2 weeks, dude. So I was
gosh.
Dude, can you imagine
crazy.
though? 18, 19, 20 years old. Dude, I was a punk kid.
No clue what you're doing.
Dude,
yeah, seriously.
I was a punk kid at that time. Thought I was I know
the
everything.
Shit, yeah.
And my dad's trying to make a better life for his family. So, but
that's wild.
Yeah, no in between stops. Right to Nyssa.
That's crazy. That is so cool.
I know. I was coming from Mexico, and you're just we're gonna go to Nyssa, Oregon, because most people are what? What is that?
Yeah. With a population of 1,500, maybe 1,000.
Yeah.
Wasn't much at the time, right?
The capital of Michoacan is Morelia, and there's 800,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
So,
big city.
Yeah.
That's
culture
crazy.
shock for sure.
Huge.
What made your family want to move? Just better life?
I think it was work, honestly. I'm not sure if it's better life. I think for them it was just work.
Different life.
Yeah, they just knew it was going to be better in terms of getting better job opportunities, things like that.
A better way to provide for their family. Yeah.
And both sides of my family are big families, right? My mom is one of 15. My dad was one of 9.
That's crazy.
So
how many siblings do you have?
Gosh, I have 4. I'm one of 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm one of 4.
They toned it down a little bit.
They're pump the brakes there for a second, but I'm one of 4. So, but I think just work has always been kind of part of their life. So.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you work your whole life, right?
Yeah.
It's the worst thing in the world. The worst
terrible.
thing. I hate it, but whatever.
That's funny. So did you leave for any part of the time to go to school anywhere, or you pretty much just stayed here your whole life?
No, like I said, Nyssa's been home for me, right?
Okay.
So just grew up here, raised here, friends are here. And I got an opportunity to go wrestle in college, right? So I left in 2003.
Okay.
2003, I made my way to Portland. I was in Oregon City, so I wrestled for Clackamas Community College.
Okay.
And since 2003, man, I essentially lived there.
Yeah.
I'd come home for the summer to fight fires just because Obviously, that was income for us, for me, right, for school. But for the most part, like, you could say I became a young adult in Portland. Age, yeah. I mean, I was 19 when I graduated high school, but I figured out who I was, I guess, when I was in Portland.
Yeah.
Okay. So
cool. How did you come? How did it come into being a Spanish teacher, and how did you come up with factory? The factory,
right. So being in education had always been just kind of a life goal for me, especially when I was a junior in high school. I had a pretty influential person in my life kind of come in and just showed me what it was to just be a good person in the world, and just the impact that person had on my life was like, dude, I want to be just like that dude. Like, I want to be able to influence people and just show people how to be a good person in the world, right? And shout out to Luke Cleaver for that, by the way. If you don't know Luke Cleaver, he's our coach, right? He's our head wrestling coach, and he's really kind of just been a mentor for me, and him and his family, and just awesome people.
That's awesome.
But yeah, ever since he's been in my life, I'm like, dude, that's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought I'd make it easy for myself being a Spanish teacher, but it was not easy. No, it's funny because people tell me, like, that's got to be easy, right? I'm like, bro, you speak English, right? Yeah. Do you take English classes? Yeah. Was that easy? No. Okay. So it's kind of like it's the same thing. Like, just because it's another language, like, what? So I give people a hard time with that, and it's pretty funny.
That is funny.
But yeah, I just kind of got into that, and teaching. I don't know. I enjoy it, man. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
That is cool. I mean, I mean, you get to have an impact on people's lives, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
There's not many other professions out there where you get to touch so many lives at once.
Yeah, no, right? It's cool. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, Tyler and I are going to have to come sit in on the Spanish classes, so we're prepared for next year when we go to Mexico.
God.
We just got back from Mexico like Monday.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, we're down there for a week.
What a rough life.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to San Felipe. We're on the Baja California side. You're about 2 hours from the border. On the Sea of Cortez.
Yeah. How was that? I've never been to the Pacific side. It's Pacific side, right?
So warm right there.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Stop.
Yeah, it was like 70, 75.
Yeah, it's awesome down there, man.
Super nervous.
But it's on the Sea of Cortez. It's not on the Pacific side. It's on the Sea of Cortez side. So you're in the Gulf kind of right there.
Oh, wait, hold on. You're on the Gulf side, not the Pacific side.
We're on the Gulf side.
Oh, yeah, so you get you get really good water.
Yeah, it was really
warm
fun.
Water.
It was a culture shock for me, though, and I told Tyler, I was like, my goal for next year is to know Spanish.
Yeah.
Just to, I'm
good
like,
luck.
This is what I need.
Yeah. I'm like, imagine me, white as heck, like going down, and I'm just fluent in it. They're like, oh my gosh. This girl's cool.
What's up with this white girl speaking Spanish?
Yeah, they're like, what?
I love it. That's so awesome.
But yeah, no, I love it down there. We've been going down there for 3 years now. This is our third year going down there every week. We go watch the Baja 1000. So it's a big desert race that they have down there on that side.
Holy smokes.
They have a whole 6 race series that they do throughout the year.
Oh my gosh.
Trophy trucks and shit.
I grew up in that stuff. So that's what we go watch.
Holy. And then I was going to ask you about just... I mean, what was a culture shock for you?
It was just, that's the farthest I've ever been away from here was Florida. And so going there, just being somewhere where nobody spoke my language.
That's a culture shock too, by the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But just it was very different. Just the way that they live, you know what I mean? And I was just like, I feel weird.
Yeah.
I just felt awkward.
Yeah,
and we'd go into the Costco. I didn't know what anything said or how much money. It says 19,000, you know, and I'm like, what?
What was the conversion for the dollar?
It's I think it's 1 to 19 right now.
1 to 19 right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It's different. I love it down there, but it's different than here because you go from, having regulated restaurants to restaurants in carts on the side of the street all over the place. But the food is delicious, right? I mean, we never get sick when we're eating down there.
And the stray dogs,
everywhere.
all the wild
stray dogs everywhere.
I was like, oh my gosh, I want to take them all home.
No, don't do that.
We got dog treats from Costco, and I was just like, come here, puppies.
Oh no, they might bite your hand off.
They were all
so
really nice.
Then
they'd follow me around in packs.
They would. They were somewhat wild but domesticated dogs.
Yeah,
right? So
you could tell they were fed a lot.
Was that area pretty commercialized? I mean, was it pretty?
Yes and no. It kind of depended on where.
I mean, like Tijuana, Ensenada, all those places are pretty commercialized. But San Felipe, small town. I think maybe a town of 1,000 people, 2,000 people. It's a pretty small area. It's not super commercialized, but it is a fishing community, so they do have some fisheries and stuff down there. But yeah, I mean, that's why we love it there, because it's not as commercialized as Tijuana and Ensenada, right? There's just so much stuff going on over there.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. Well, just kind of, I'll throw the invitation out there, but if you ever want to go to Morelia, let me know.
Dude, okay.
Dude, we have kind of going back to the whole, that whole, like, my parents came up here to work, right? They worked enough, right, so where they could build a home down there. So they built their own home down there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's kind of nice, right? So when we go down, we have a
vacation place.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
That's super cool.
I'm not sure what it looked like over there where you guys were at, but there in Morelia, it's very. There's a lot of Spanish colonial architecture, so it's super pretty. Very 1800s.
That's awesome.
It's insane. Yeah, it's so cool.
That is neat. Yeah, I would definitely like to see that stuff, because like from the first like settlers, the Spanish settlers and stuff that come through and built all that stuff. Awesome architecture.
It's cool, man. I love it. That's cool. I'm glad you guys. Yeah, that for you. You've been doing it for years.
Yeah, I'm doing it. But for her, it's the first time.
It was definitely. I was nervous and crossing the border and everything. I was like,
that's easy.
I know, it was so easy. We like went right in. I was like, that's it. Like, that's it. And then to get back into this U.S., we waited 4.5 hours to cross back into the border. But I was super nervous, freaking out.
Yeah.
And then it was literally a 2-second conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, we waited in almost 5 hours for this.
Yeah, that's pretty silly.
I was like, we made it.
It was so stupid. We get there and he's like, passports, and we hand him all our passports, and have a good night.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Yeah, but it's cool. We got some shitty tattoos down there in San Felipe.
Stop. Let me see.
They're on the back of our legs. We'll show you after the pod.
It's Spanglish.
Yeah.
It's Spanglish.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean what it actually says. So
the guy, he used to live here. Well, born in Mexico, lived here for a while, and then lived back in Mexico.
Shop down there.
And so he speaks Spanish, and he's like, this isn't correct. And we're like, no, we know, but this is what we want.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
It's Spanglish.
That's so cool.
There's 5 of us that all have the same tattoo now, so
yeah,
it's great.
It's funny. We love
awesome.
it.
That's so cool. I love it.
Dude, so let's get into the gym side of things.
Yeah,
how did that come about?
So, so in 2017, my wife and I, we came home for Christmas, and we're like, hey, in 2020, we're going to move back home. I think it's just time for us to move back home.
Okay.
For me, I'd been in Portland for like the last 15 years. For her, she'd been up there for 10. We literally got married. Fire season was over, and I'm like, listen, there's nothing here for us right now. Like, we need to go off and do our thing. Yeah. So we literally loaded up our truck and just drove her with me. So
that's awesome.
So I was kind of bouncing around, trying to finishing up school, and then just bouncing around with training. I coached at Portland State for a year, then coached at Pacific for a while. And then I started training Jiu Jitsu in 2000. What was it? I think it was 2012, 2013, I believe. Maybe 14, I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm like, I started doing Jiu Jitsu, and then 2017 come around, we had that conversation. Yeah. And I was thinking, like, gosh, okay, if we move back home, like, how am I going to continue doing jiu-jitsu? Sure. I don't want to drive an hour to go to Boise, right? That's just a pain.
Where the only gyms are at the moment,
right? And even at that time, man, I think I was just a blue belt. So I will get into the gritty of what is jiu-jitsu. But we were having a conversation with Sheena's grandparents. So they own the furniture factory in our current location. Oh, right. Okay. Used to be called the Furniture Factory. It's literally right at the train tracks before you cross them over to get to Wood Grain. Okay. Right. It's on the left-hand side. It's the last building, literally on the tracks. Okay. And they've had that place since I think like the 50s, maybe in the 60s. Really? Yeah, something like that. So they would make furniture out of there. So 5,000 square feet. Looked like an open container, just one big log building. Love it. And then 2017, we had a conversation with them, like, listen, Grandma, Grandpa, we get that you want to retire. Yeah. You're at that point already. It's done over with. Here's kind of our business plan. Mind you, I was a Spanish major. Sure. Here's my business plan. And they're like, they thought about it before we left, right back to Portland. They kind of just give us the okay. Sure. They're just like, hey, just 2020, we know that'll be when you guys come back.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm like, okay, perfect. Go back home to Hillsboro. We lived in Hillsboro.
Okay.
And just had a really bad year in 2018. Sheena's grandpa got really sick, and she's like, oh, this is happening sooner than we thought, right? You need to find a job back home ASAP. I'm like, okay. So in the middle of all that, right, I got a job super fast at the school district. When I first started here, I was the dean of students at the elementary.
Okay.
So that was pretty fun. I really enjoyed that part just because it was a lot of the disciplinary stuff and get to help those little ones, right? So it's pretty cool. So literally moved back in 2018. 2020 was like, that's 2 years away. Like this was not in the plan. Like I had no idea what we were going to do. So once we moved back, I just started working on the building. They already shut everything down. They'd cleaned most of the stuff out. They were trying to sell a lot of the other like smaller stuff.
Right.
And I started cleaning around the building. I mean, there's a section of the building where you literally could not drive through because it was just trash, trees,
and just TLC.
So much. So for the first year, it was just me cleaning out there with some friends. Did an amazing job helping me out, trying to get that thing just cleaned up and ready, kind of get ready to be used. Had to deal with the recycling plant next door to me. I have a few run-ins with those guys, man. That's not cool.
Dumping trash on your side.
Yeah, man. I mean, just take some responsibility. But apparently it's my fault because the wind is blowing their trash on our area. I'm like, okay. Anyway.
Like, why is there an opportunity for the trash to be blown on my area?
Exactly, right? And they're like, well, hey, if you pay half, we'll pay half. We can put it up. Bro, it's your trash. Take care of it. Anyway, so we got it cleaned up, put some gravel down. So it's a really nice kind of U-shape.
Now.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice. And then started working inside the building, ripping stuff out, selling stuff. The back side of the building was pretty cool because that's where they build their furniture.
Yeah, sure.
Had a bunch of saws, kind of unique tools that they built for themselves to build this furniture, and then just started slowly ripping that stuff out. And I think that was 2019. In the middle, so like towards the end of 2018, 2019, that was starting to happen, right?
Yeah.
In the meantime, we were trying to figure out how we can train, right? So I'm like, okay, we got to figure out how to train, how I can get people in to kind of get interested. So in the back of our garage, I laid some mats down and we started training in there. So at one point, I think I had like 16 people and they're just kind of rolling, just introducing Jiu Jitsu to them.
Yeah.
Had some people from Portland come through and it was kind of cool, right? It's the garage.
Yeah.
And as that was happening, we were working on the gym, laying mats down. Again, just trying to make things perfect.
Right. Just saving up some cash and putting some things in.
Right. And it's never perfect, right?
No.
So,
never.
2019 is kind of when we really officially like started getting into the building. All right, hey guys, we're here now. We're no longer at our house. Let people know, spread the word.
Yeah.
Man, and since 2019, we've just kind of been
2-3 years now that you've been kind of officially.
Actually, we just celebrated 2 years the 20th of this month.
Okay,
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so unofficially you started 2019, but officially it was 2020.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Mind you, this was COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, 100%.
Dude, right? So
shutdowns, lockdowns, everything.
We threw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
Like
good
Idaho, right? Idaho was like, well,
we don't care.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. We didn't bar no windows. We didn't do any of that. And our Portland impacts were like, they were getting called on. They're like, hey, people are training. They were getting fined almost. And it was insane. And for us, we're like, if you're sick, don't come in.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Be respectful, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, we're pretty fortunate right now. Just the space that we have and kind of looking at expansion and what else we want to bring to the table. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, what do you guys actually do in the gym? I know you said Jiu Jitsu. You guys trying to do boxing, kids programs, yoga.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
We got I think 5 just core disciplines that we do right now. Our main 2 right now, I would say, is our Jiu Jitsu and our wrestling, and those are the ones that I coach. Sure. We have our boxing club, which our head coach there is Ernie Nee, and one of our newer coaches, his name is Ross Saldana. He's just got in, so that's pretty cool. And then we have a lady, her name's Sarah Witherspoon. She does our yoga class Friday mornings. Okay. Which is pretty cool. Kind of give her own space too. And then we have we're trying to do that whole kickboxing thing, but that's a struggle, man. we got to figure out how we can get somebody in there a little bit more full time. And then our kids class, right? Yeah. Our kids classes, we have two different age groups of jiu-jitsu kids, and that's pretty cool.
Do you mainly focus on jiu-jitsu with the kids then?
Yeah, with the kids, with the exception of the boxing, right? Like the boxing, we kind of try to open up to everybody too.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But I want our kids to really kind of take part of the whole jiu-jitsu scene as well.
So with the jiu-jitsu side of things, is like this Impact Jiu-Jitsu, is that like some kind of franchise that you've bought into? Is it your own thing? Is it the name? Like what? No, how does that work, man?
So Michael Chapman is the owner of Impact Jiu-Jitsu, and he, if I remember correctly, he's like, it's not a franchise. You're not buying a piece of jiu-jitsu. It's like a membership is what it is. Okay. So us as the factory Impact Jiu-Jitsu, we're a membership. We pay into a membership to be part of Impact, the team. And gosh, I think he's been doing jiu-jitsu since like he started Impact Jiu-Jitsu I think in 1998.
Oh wow, so it's a long time.
Yeah. So him and his wife have been part of just the jiu-jitsu scene. I think even prior to that, they did some traveling. I think they lived in Japan for a while.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's nuts.
Dude, nuts. So crazy. I would say he's probably one of the OGs of jiu-jitsu in the Pacific Northwest.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and then, yeah, like when we moved over, I was like, hey, listen, I love what Impact Jiu-Jitsu means as a team, as a unit, as a family, what it represents, like, and I want to be part of that. And that was a conversation I had with Chapman. He's like, I've been waiting for this conversation to happen. I'm like, shut up. Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, because he knew we were moving as well.
Sure.
So he was he was
still
all
be
about
a part
it.
of it. With
he was all about it. And I think I'm one of over a dozen schools that he has.
Oh wow.
Right.
Okay.
So he's got a school in Arizona, New Mexico, Hawaii, us here in Idaho now, right? And then he's got quite a few in the Portland metro area, right?
Sure.
K Falls, even down south.
Wow. That's cool. You're the only one out here then.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
For sure, right now.
Right.
You just got to get so big that no one else wants to move in here,
right? now, right? That's going to be tough, man. I mean, if somebody moves to Boise, I'm not too worried about it, but I don't know if anybody's going to move this way.
I think
probably not.
This area's pretty untapped. So I think like if you can get in now, get your name out there, get your footprint established, like no one's going to want to move in.
Yeah,
it's cool the people in this area have that opportunity though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of things that have not been presented to people in this area that if you bring something to the table and it's successful, you're like, oh, dude, let's plant roots. We ain't going anywhere. Let's do it.
Seriously,
right?
100%.
You know, so I mean, since we moved back, like, I'm so big into the beer scene, dude. It's ridiculous. Hazy IPAs, I love them, right? So 100%. when we first moved up here, I was like, there's no place where there's nice breweries. There's none of that, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
it sucks.
How am I gonna get my beers? This is a terrible thing.
I'm working on changing that.
Right? But they're slowly doing their thing, man. Like Idaho's kind of doing their thing. So 100%. It's pretty cool.
That's cool, man. So for our viewers, our listeners, what is jiu-jitsu?
So jiu-jitsu, gosh, I'm probably gonna be I'm gonna probably explain
bare basics. What is it?
Okay, so just so people get understanding, think about UFC.
Okay,
people have watched the UFC.
I would think so. Yeah,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
It's when they get to the ground. What happens when people get to the ground?
Okay.
How do I control my opponent, right? To be able to protect myself. That's pretty much what we do. Is we show you how to grapple, wrestle, in a way where you're controlling the positions, right? Controlling the environment, controlling what's happening in this whole scuffle.
Sure.
Mind you, it wasn't started as a sport-based grappling martial art. It was very much a self-defense.
Okay.
Very much a self-defense.
Gotcha.
Because if you really think about it, right, when you get into a scuffle, where do you normally end up?
On the ground. Yeah.
Right? On the ground. And most times when you get on the ground, you're like, I'm just going to, I don't know what's happening.
How do I get up?
Yeah, I'm going to hug. And people do some of the silliest things when they get thrown to the ground. Like they turn their back on people. And it's just like, man, there's just so many things you can do when your back's on the ground and you're facing your opponent. There's so many things that can happen for you.
To protect yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So just trying to tap into that and showing people how to do that. And
gotcha.
Give them a little more confidence, you know?
So what would be the difference between jiu-jitsu and wrestling?
So with jiu-jitsu, right, I guess I didn't add this part. With jiu-jitsu is, aside from just learning how to grapple and move around. We show you how to do submission holds, right? From elbows to wrist locks to shoulder locks. Your tradition, like choking somebody, right? Moving to your knees, right? Learning how to manipulate knees, ankles. It's really kind of what it comes down to, right? I'm going to show you how to strangle somebody.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
With your shirts, things like that. I mean, even though when you grab, they may tear fairly easily, but for the most part, man, like
interesting.
Whatever you have on, I can probably use to strangle you.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So doing that in like a setting. When you're coming into a room, are you analyzing everybody when you're coming in? Like now that you're a jiu-jitsu trainer, you're like, I can take this guy.
No. You know what's funny? I can't. No, I don't think about that stuff, dude. I don't.
You're not here to beat the shit out of people.
No, dude.
You're looking at who you can beat the shit out of.
I think you get out of that mindset as you. I don't know. The more you do it, you just don't think about it, just because you're really just confident in what you and your skill set, right? And that certain skill set that you have, and it's just there's nothing there for you.
Like a silent badass kind of thing.
No,
right?
not even that.
What?
No, man, I can't even. Come on, man. No, I can't even think about it like that. I'm just.
Gotta give it to me, man. Come on.
No, I can't, dude.
It's probably because you're so passionate about it, though. Like you look 100%. At it more as a hobby rather than like I can kick your ass tool.
Like a lifestyle, like a training tool, right? Really, like to keep you in shape and to keep your health in the right spot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I tell people, when you do jiu-jitsu, it's truly life-changing. It gives you so much confidence.
Sure.
2, it really helps you maintain control in a high-stress situation.
Okay.
I don't know, and you get to when you go train, and depending on the room size, right? You got a certain subgroup of people that could probably hurt you too, and I think that's kind of humbling.
Sure.
Right? Like your own training partners are kind of there to kind of like keep you in check.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. So like when you go out to the real world, I guess, when you're kind of out just hanging out, it's like you don't think about it. It's just
reactionary kind of thing.
More than anything. Right.
Huh.
So it's
interesting.
I don't think about it too much. I go out and just try to have a good time. When there's stuff happening, I'm like, okay, hey, just relax. Nothing's happening. It's nothing, none of my people are getting hurt. None of my people are getting injured, whatever the case may be. So I don't normally react. So.
Well, I mean, probably that comes from the confidence too of I know how to handle it if it does happen, right?
There's a guy. So the main guy that gave Michael Chapman his black belt.
Okay.
His name is Chris Howder. His analogy to this whole jiu-jitsu thing, he's like, think about it as everybody else walking around. Like if there's some kind of issue going on, he goes, think about it like everybody's walking around with a pocket knife, and you're walking around. This is terrible, with an AR-15 in terms of your skill set.
Yeah.
You're like,
I like that analogy.
I'm like, okay, Chris Howder. Chris Howder is one of the OGs of jiu-jitsu in the United States. He is what people kind of put him in as a group of they call him the Dirty Dozen. So it was the first 12 Americans to get their black belts under the Gracies, essentially, right? Or the Machados and Gracies. I think they're a family unit, but he was one of the OGs of jiu-jitsu in the U.S. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, and he gave again our owner Michael Chapman his black belt. So
that's so sick.
lineage is pretty cool there.
Yeah,
I like to thank myself. So dude, that was 30 minutes already.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
It goes by quick, man. You don't even notice.
No, oh my gosh.
At all. That's cool.
Does your wife do jiu-jitsu?
No, I wish she did. I kind of do. I wish she did, but sometimes it's tough. Like if
I bet. I mean, trying to find time too and schedule and everything, right?
Yeah, we've been together for over 20 years, I think.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
She just watched me wrestle and high school, college, and
sure.
I don't know. It's just and then watch me do this whole jiu-jitsu journey. And
okay.
She just doesn't really have interest in it.
Were you guys high school sweethearts?
No. I don't like to say that just because I met her. She was a senior and I was a junior, so she was already kind of on her way out. And
yeah, that's fair.
I just like, nah, man, I'm not.
Hey, I'm not gonna knock it, man.
But yeah, she's put up with me for a while.
So. For a while?
Yeah.
Fair
enough. That's awesome.
So I love it.
Do you guys have kids?
No kids.
Okay.
Yeah, no kids.
Want kids?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Just haven't been blessed, I tell people.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's a greater being thinking knows that I'm still pretty dang selfish just with this whole business and jiu-jitsu, and then her and I like to travel. So.
Yeah, you guys have the time to do what you want. Yeah. Not that you can't with kids, but it definitely makes it harder.
Yeah. Don't let that be a damper.
Be
on
a blocker.
Right?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Take the time.
Absolutely. So
that's awesome. So future. What does your future look like with the business, with your life? Like, what are you looking to do, man?
Dang. So. The business, I definitely want to see it grow a little bit more, right?
Sure.
I kind of have, like I said, I have some plans in terms of what we want to do with expanding the business and what that looks like for us.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to. I guess one big thing I would want to do is be able to bring it more to our local area, right? So I'd love to offer a jiu-jitsu class here in Nyssa.
Okay.
Make it more accessible for our kids in that area, right?
So you want to eventually expand to another building in Nyssa is your goal?
Yeah, definitely. Even if it's just jiu-jitsu and that's it, I would be absolutely happy with that. And again, making it something where our kids can be a part of, even our family, like our parents can be part of it too, right? Because I think it's a super important skill to have, to be honest.
Well, it gives kids in the area something to do instead of just kind of messing around, maybe doing things they shouldn't,
right? And there's nothing like that. I mean, again, you have to drive to Boise for that, and sometimes it's about the has and have-nots, and
and the fuel prices where they are, not every family can afford that, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, if you can bring something that's close, they can come in and hang out, play, roll on the mats, like.
Well, and then they get to hang out with kids in their own community, so maybe they can make friendships that last longer than just the jiu-jitsu class.
No, absolutely, right. And so obviously, like our headquarters would be in Fruitland, just because our building is there, right? But that, in terms of that kind of a long-term goal, where we're expanding the business, it would be moving a building or having a building in this and offering classes
location,
there,
which would be perfect, right? And obviously it wouldn't interfere with our training in Fruitland.
Yeah.
And then within the Fruitland building, like I want to be able to put a steel building up right behind it and offer more striking, right? More of their boxing, like give them a ring, put up more boxing bags.
That'd be sick.
So again, open up a spot where you don't have to drive.
Sure. Yeah, people can walk from their, like if you're living in Fruitland, you can walk from their houses to get to a gym, or I mean, even Nyssa.
Or even Nyssa. I mean, I'd rather drive to Fruitland than Boise.
You're short 10-15 minute drive. For us here, like 20-25 minutes. I mean,
I was gonna say like a 20. I think I was giving myself a number in terms of the radius, and I was looking at 25 to 30 mile radius, where that's a 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive, super easy, right?
Easy drive.
So that's just kind of what I'm shooting for, man.
Okay.
I definitely want to build a team. Right. Definitely would like to have something where kids can come in and train and compete, and
I love that.
and just build confidence, man. Especially with everything that's going on now, man. It just blows my mind. Like doing women's self-defense classes, like that's a huge thing for me that I definitely want to get back into. I work with I'm trying to work with law enforcement. So my little brother's in law enforcement. He just got hooked up with Ontario PD, so
that's awesome.
Just offering them courses and things like that. So I mean, I think this is such a huge important skill to have.
Overall restraint training and all that stuff.
I think it's important to everyone to have.
100%. Like that's something I need to be into. So you have to hook me up, here, brother.
Dude, let me know, man.
But that's cool.
Happen.
That is so cool, man. That's awesome that you have a vision of wanting to impact the community, right? That's what this podcast is about. It's about highlighting those people that want to actually do something here. They want to actually have an impact on the kids, the families in this area. So that's awesome. Kudos to you, man. Hats off.
It's been cool. It's been a cool little journey, like I said. But I don't like that. Like, I want it to happen now. I need it to happen quick. And then you miss that whole middle portion of the journey, right?
Miss the building process.
Exactly, right? So I need to be okay with letting myself experience those moments, right? There's going to be ups and downs, and I've had a few of them already.
For sure.
Right? So I'm like, dang, what's happening?
It's just the beginning, man.
Right? No, don't tell me that. But you just got to be part of it, right? You just got to be part of whatever that journey is. And 100%. It's exactly what I tell my jiu-jitsu people. Like, jiu-jitsu is what you make of it. Right. It's your own personal journey. It's what you do and how you treat it, and the time and effort that you put into it. So.
Because it takes a long time to get your black belt, right? Like 3 to 5 years. Like if you're training hard, longer than that.
Dude, it takes you. So if you were an athlete, and let's just say a wrestler, right?
Yeah. Okay.
A wrestler can probably do it in 10 years.
Holy.
Wow, that's a long time.
A jiu-jitsu hobbyist, somebody that's never done jiu-jitsu, has never done any kind of grappling, and not even the sport, takes in between 15, 16, 17 years.
Dang.
Wow.
That makes me appreciate people who have black belts now.
Hold
on, let's not be confused now. Hold on. So there's a big difference here. I mean, I think self-defense in terms of what is offered has its place.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. In terms of, I think, being just practical, jiu-jitsu for me, in my mind, is more practical in terms of like self-defense and things like that than your traditional martial art.
Okay.
I'm just
like a Muay Thai or anything like that.
No, that's very different because they don't have a belting. I don't think they have a belting system. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty dang practical if you ask me. I'm thinking more like the whole like Taekwondo, karate.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Like your traditional competition style martial arts.
Yeah, and like I said, it all has its place.
Yeah,
it's all absolutely has its place. But again, I'm biased, right? I'm super biased. It's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
of course.
But I mean, super practical.
Okay.
Very applicable.
That makes sense.
So, but 15, dude, and you can tell. Like if somebody walks into our gym and he walks in with a blue belt, right? And we roll, I'm like, oh, dude, you're not a blue belt. There's no way you're a blue belt. You can absolutely tell.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with, I mean, there's been YouTube videos of guys that have black belts on and they roll, and you're like, dude.
You are not a black belt.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dude, my instructor, his name is Richard Rangel. He got his black belt through Chapman.
Okay.
That dude murders me. I don't
You're
even.
like, he is a black belt.
Yeah.
I can't. Dude, it drives me up the wall, man. I love him to death. And I'm like,
that's funny.
How are you just murder me every time? Like, it makes no sense. But
that's funny.
I mean, I kind of expect that. He's my instructor.
Yeah.
Right? Even Chapman's like, I don't know, he's like 5'6", 5'7", and like
Small
about
guy.
40.
Wow.
And he
like, kick your ass.
Yeah, and he rolls him like, dude, Chapman, get out. I just want to grab you by the neck and strangle you, but that's not practical. That doesn't work. So
that's funny.
But yeah, dude.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. You guys need to.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah, Jenna.
I think I'd like it. Jenna was telling us about it.
Oh yeah.
She was on the podcast. She's like, dude, you got to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
She's like, but it's rough on the body sometimes. She's like, my fingers. She's like, my toes.
I mean, your knuckles kind of bulge out a little bit just because I'm grabbing, but I mean, it's fine, dude. Like, again, they call it the arte suave, I think, something like that in Brazilian. I'm not sure how they do it in Portuguese, but they call it like the gentle art or whatever.
Okay.
And I would much rather, I've wrestled all my life pretty much. I would much rather do jiu-jitsu than wrestle just because in terms of competing.
Really?
It's just easier on me. Easier on my body.
Interesting.
So. I think I'd like it. I think it would also irritate me so much that I'd want to get better. Because being held down, like, that shit pisses me off. I'm like, let me get you.
Yeah, but how do you do that, right?
Yeah.
So how do you slow down your brain to be like, okay, I got to process what's happening right now.
Yeah.
You know, where's their pressure?
Kind of think about your actions instead of just
reacting.
Yeah, exactly.
With no purpose.
Well, not only that, but like the just experience you gain, not just from that, but like how to control your mind, right? And like for business and situations like that, okay, how do I slow down?
Yeah.
What's going on around me? How can I make the situation better? Like, it's just practically teaching your mind, right?
Oh, completely. Yeah, absolutely. Have you guys ever been in a confrontation?
Like us fighting each other?
Not each other. Yeah, no.
I haven't actually ever been in a fight, so
me neither.
no clue.
So you don't know what it is to have like that adrenaline dump and just like your body's just shaking because.
I've always wanted to fight somebody, but I don't start that because I know
I've always wanted to box, but
I don't think I'd win.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we've talked about getting boxing gloves and just freaking beating the shit out of each other.
Let me be the ref.
Yeah, seriously. Be fun.
Or just come to the gym, sign a waiver, and have at it.
Then we can
That's
have
what we need to do. That's what we just need to like jiu-jitsu with each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, I mean, right, as having that feeling of like, dude, this is about to happen. We're going to scrap right now. What is happening to my body? Why am I feeling this way, right? So like understanding how to manage all that.
Yeah.
Right. It's the fight or flight response.
Absolutely.
And like if he does this, I am supposed to do this, or if I do this, it'll logically help me.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then even just looking at like when you're rolling with somebody and they're strangling you and your friends around you are like smiling and laughing. They're like, oh my gosh, they're going to get strangled. Guys, watch this. They get strangled right now. Right? You're like watching somebody almost kill somebody.
Yeah.
And it's completely okay.
You're like, yes.
Right? Yeah. Or you praise the guy because they're like, dude, that was like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Right? Or they do something so well and they get you in a really compromised position and they're like, oh, they're going to tap. But for some odd reason, you do a certain technique or whatever the case may be, and you get out. You're like, dude, that was insane. Like, how in the hell did you get out of that? That's so crazy.
That's really
so
cool.
That's
it's
cool.
exciting, man. I don't know. I love it. It gets me pretty jacked up. We have practice tonight, just FYI. We be rolling tonight.
So.
Heck yeah.
I love to hear
So what are your practice days?
So with Jiu Jitsu, we go Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 7 p.m. till about 8:30ish.
Okay.
Our people are pretty spoiled. Normally they, like if you go anywhere else, you train for an hour and that's it.
Sure.
So we do a fairly decent warm up, do some technique, and then we just, as I like to say, let's beat each other up.
Yeah.
Right. So we do like 5 or 6 rounds.
Okay. Oh.
Excuse me.
Good.
They're 5-minute rounds. Okay. 1 minute rest.
So do you guys kind of match up like newbies and with newbies and things like that?
Not right now. Okay. Not right now. Like whoever signs up and they're part of our class, like, hey, just jump in. Yeah. We'll get you kind of figured out. I don't have the personnel power.
Yeah, right? To be able to do that.
Hey, for beginners class, I need you to be here. Especially now with wrestling season. I think once wrestling season's over for me, I'll try to offer like a beginner's class,
back in
like a 6 to 7 class, but it would be a beginners and then our
just to kind of get like the basics of it. But sometimes it's better to just be thrown into it and you just figure it out.
Dude, that's throwing to the wolves. Sometimes that makes or breaks people, and it's tough. Yeah, like
that's how you know you're gonna either really like it or not like it.
I'm pretty particular about when new people come in, like if they choose to go live with people, like. Okay, we'll do the first roll together. So then I can kind of help you through and guide you through through what we're doing. And then I'm like, hey, I need you to roll with this new person, right? So somebody that's a little bit more seasoned, I'll be like, hey, I need you to roll with them. Just be mindful, take care of them type of deal. So
I mean, you don't want to push them to the breaking point and never come back, right? Because that's bad business. So you want to nurture them a little.
Yeah, you want to give them a little TLC. Right? So but and I try to do a good job of that. That's super family-friendly environment, though, man. In terms of what Impact Jiu Jitsu brings, everybody's super nice, very welcoming.
That's awesome.
Where can we? Instagram pages, Facebook pages. Where can we find you at?
Yeah, man. We're the Factory Impact Jiu Jitsu Wrestling Club on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
They're both just linked up with each other. Right?
Sure.
Don't do Twitter.
So if people are interested in joining a class, do they reach out to you? Do they just show up? How do they go about that?
Yeah, you can. So if you want to come in and check it out, just come into the class Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Cool.
Okay. Do you have a website people can go to and
as
see?
Well, yeah. Okay. It's Impact. The Factory. It's called the Factory Impact Jiu Jitsu IJJ.
Okay.
Wrestling Club. So you can get on Google as well, right? So just jump on there and find us.
Cool. Yeah, we'll give you some shout outs and all of our stuff. Man. So that's awesome. I got one last question for you that I was having you talk about. What's the impact that you want to have on the community?
I think the biggest impact I want to have on the community is giving them an outlet, right? Give them something that's going to be productive for them, right? It's gonna build kids' confidence. Realistically, I don't want to say just for our kids, but also for our parents. But because there's not much to do for our kids, like I really want our youth to be part of this program, right? I think you need to start somewhere where our youth kind of just grows up with it. And then they get to pass that on, right? And they get to say like, well, hey, I was part of this club. You should be part of this club too, right? Kind of pass that on. So I think give them a skill set that they could definitely use in their entire life, right? Build good habits, things like that. So
I love that.
That is powerful, man.
Yeah.
100%. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We love what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah. No, this was pretty cool, man. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're stoked to have you on. We'll Jenna was raving about how much fun she was, and I was like, I want to learn more about it. And then you reached out, and I was like, you're coming on the podcast.
Love it. No, thank you guys. So cool, please come check us out. Like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is our jiu-jitsu class, and then for you wrestlers out there, Tuesday, Thursdays too, we go same time, 7 to 8:30, and
cool.
I know we didn't touch on them a little bit, but we got some pretty killer wrestlers in there.
Okay.
A couple All-Americans, 2 girls that are wrestling in college now out of our club. So like,
that's sick,
dude. Yeah.
Congrats, man.
We're trying to make some waves.
Yeah,
we're trying to make
for
some waves.
Sure.
It's going okay. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Hey, dude, that's all it takes, man.
I know.
You keep pushing.
For sure, man.
Cool,
awesome,
man.
guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming
of course.
On, man. As always, folks, keep it local.